Hi, I'm Elizabeth Spring.
And I'm Claudia Trivelas. And today we're talking about aspects, part of our series of challenging aspects. We're talking about Moon Saturn. That will include the conjunction, the square, and the opposition. And as we indicated in the Sun Saturn series, squares are internal, felt internally. Oppositions are often felt through others or outer circumstances because it's an opposition. What's outside of you blocking you in the
Right,
case of Saturn?
right. So when we're talking about Moon Saturn, we know that Saturn has a tendency to inhibit or to impose restrictions, or it feels that way. It feels more contractive, whereas with Jupiter we feel expansive. There is this feeling when you get a contractive impact on the moon. People often go, oh no, what is this? Is this going to be depression?
Mm-hmm.
Is this
A lot of fear
a lot of fear?
about depression.
Right. And it's like Saturn's not out there to hurt you, but rather to make you wiser and
Mm-hmm.
more mature. It's so, I often think it's a wisening aspect.
And really, what happens is that as you get older, Sun Saturn, Moon Saturn aspects become easier. They mature with age.
Yes.
And it really does. A Moon Saturn person is someone who has a lot of depth to them, and they portray that depth. There's an aura of trustworthiness that they've been there, done that, and they can
Yeah.
understand
Mm-hmm.
difficult circumstances.
Yeah. So similar to Sun Saturn, if you do the work, in
Mm-hmm.
this case, it's the emotional work, which may involve holding the tension of the opposites. Sometimes you have to wait through this
Mm-hmm.
time and not actually do anything, but there is work in just
Sitting,
waiting and
sitting with it.
holding, sitting with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Other times you have to change your emotional stance. That's part of it, sometimes becoming wiser. Um, and you're holding again, like with Sun Saturn. Saturn it has to do with this holding structural idea. So it rules the bones of the body. It
Mm-hmm.
rules houses,
Teeth.
teeth, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and even the womb. So sometimes when I'm looking in a
That's
chart
yeah.
for
That's
signs of pregnancy in transit, if a woman has a Saturn Moon transit, that's often a sign of pregnancy.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's true because it is. It's that container, and that's a really good
Yes.
analogy. Picture a woman who's in her eighth month of or ninth month of pregnancy in the middle of, August. So there is that contraction,
Yes.
that patience. I mean, what's
Yes.
a better example of patience?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
but what happens at the end of it? Something
There's a
comes
birth.
alive. There's
There
a
is a
birth.
birth. Yes, that's the reward. Saturn always gives the reward, and but what Saturn wants and what
Mm-hmm.
you want to do is to try to find a certain amount of structure and permanence in your life. It's even a certain amount of safety, perhaps,
Yeah.
groundedness.
Something you can go back to that's going to, your own cave, so to
Yes.
speak,
Yeah. Right.
that
Right.
will give you that feeling of
Right.
comfort and safety, even when you're not feeling it from others.
Right. So we've just been talking about Saturn as a transit in your life. And no transit happens before its time. So when you have a Saturn Moon transit, realize, okay, it's time for me to emotionally take stock of what's going on, and there's something that needs to shift here.
Where do I need to develop more
Yeah.
confidence? Where do I need to just step out and really take a chance at some level, especially with the
Yes.
transit?
Yes.
What's been holding you back due to a feeling of insecurity or feelings of maybe
Mm.
not being enough,
Yeah.
which is a predominant feeling, especially with Saturn mode. This
Right. If you go into the
I'm not
birth.
enough. I'm not
Yes,
enough.
yes,
How
yes.
can I do this when I'm not enough? So taking hold of the challenge, sometimes you have to push yourself just to do things.
That's true. That's true.
But the reward will be there once you do.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting now if you look at the birth chart with a Saturn Moon aspect, there is a lot of sensitivity usually.
Huge amount of sensitivity.
Right.
And these people can be very helpful to other people in need because they have that sensitivity. Kind of been there, done that, and I can help you. And
Mm.
oftentimes you find them in positions of being very helpful to other people.
Like social
Social
workers and
workers,
yeah,
hospitals, working in hospitals.
right. So as a child, the Saturn Moon person craves nurturance, often doesn't get enough nurturance in their life. So love is often conditional.
Mm-hmm,
In growing up, there's often not enough time for this child.
mm-hmm,
So they learn to be self-sufficient at an early age.
mm-hmm.
And so as the Moon Saturn person grows up, there can often be this feeling where they're cautious. They can be defensive with this, expecting,
Afraid.
afraid, expecting criticism.
Mm-hmm.
So
And very
one
sensitive to criticism.
very sensitive to criticism. So you really need to work on self love.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Nurturing yourself, developing that self love, that strong
Right. That's
base.
really key. That's a way to really empower oneself with a Moon Saturn natal aspect is to really allow yourself to love yourself, even if it's in what appears to be superficial ways to begin with. But just getting into a
Mm-hmm.
habit
Mm-hmm.
of giving yourself what you need rather
Yeah.
than expecting it from the outside because the
Right.
key is the self-love inside,
Right.
which is what's going to ultimately empower you.
Right. And so it's interesting to think that what happens with Saturn, it craves whatever
Mm-hmm.
planetary principle it touches. So
Yeah.
so in the Moon Saturn, the person craves nurturance.
Mm-hmm.
They often have a desire to mother and to be mothered, or issues around the mother
Mm-hmm.
uh, can often be seen
Yeah,
there.
oftentimes it's an absentee mother or a
Right,
mother who's had some issues, maybe health-wise, or,
right,
where they're not really able to offer so much to the child growing up
yeah,
and they've had to fend for themselves,
yeah,
but yet they have that craving deep inside
right, right,
that there's not enough for them.
yeah. So it is a challenging aspect
Mm-hmm.
that you're moving from scarcity that started often early in life to developing this sense of generosity,
Self-love, yes,
self-love,
and self-love.
generosity.
Mm-hmm.
You're nurturing your heart.
Mm-hmm. And it's
Hmm.
interesting, some people who have various Moon Saturn aspects, I found that Joan Crawford, and look at the roles that she plays.
Mm.
Also, Ted Danson is another Moon Saturn conjunction,
Really?
I believe, as well as Bob Dylan.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're very good examples of Moon Saturn. In addition, Gwyneth Paltrow
Hmm.
and Angelina Jolie.
Mm. Hmm. A lot to think about there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, hopefully you got a little understanding of Moon Saturn today, and hope you can work with it in your chart, understand it by the birth and by transit. And if you want to find out more or have a reading with either of us, I'm Elizabeth Spring at elizabethspring.com.
And I'm Claudia Trivelas at discoveryyourimprint.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Bye for now.